Welcome to Pour and Power, where bourbon meets business and no story is off limits. Every episode, we invite a kick-ass Kentucky woman to sit down and spill the tea, or in our case, the bourbon, on the good, the bad, and the downright ugly of being a business owner. Real stories, raw conversations. Think of it like therapy, only with more laughs and a double shot on the rocks. We'll talk about the struggles, the sleepless nights, and those what was I thinking moments. But don't worry, we're also here for the big wins, the breakthroughs, and the success stories that make it all worth it. She's pouring out her heart. We're pouring the bourbon, because sometimes you just need to sip, sit back, and laugh at how wild the ride really is. Pour and Power Podcast. Grab a glass and join us.
Hey everybody, we're back with Bourbon Boss Babe's Pour and Power Podcast. Tonight, I finally get the honor of sitting down with Erin. I'm so excited because God knows we've been messaging for like months upon months and our schedules just never fit. And we were supposed to do this recording last week and we sat down and we had a 3.5 hour conversation. And we was like, oh, we didn't even do the podcast. And then when we got ready to leave, we was like, we're like sisters and we don't even know it. And it's just crazy because when you meet another female and you connect with her on so many levels, it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're blood or not. You guys are soul sisters.
Absolutely.
And I said, this is my soul sister.
Absolutely.
She didn't even know it coming in here. And then it was just like probably 30 minutes into it, I was like, girl, where have you been?
I know.
Where have you been? Come on.
Where have you been all my life?
And I'm like, yes. And when she talks and she tells me stuff, I'm like, yes, talk to me. Talk to me. And I'm like, damn, how did we go through that together?
Went through the same thing at the same time and didn't even know it. In like every area in life.
And here we are. And it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about? Tell them who you are, what you do. Girl.
So my name is Erin Pierre. I am from Cincinnati, Ohio originally. And I live here in Kentucky. I've been here for about 17 years going on. So I've built a lot of connections. I am a master's level social worker here in town. I have my own business. It is called Above and Beyond. And I also have my own nonprofit organization as well. I love people at the end of the day. I love people. I do ministry. I love to sing. I love to serve. It doesn't matter what the aspect is or who they are or where they come from. It doesn't matter clearly the nationality or where you're from or what your background is. I love everybody. I can work with anybody, anywhere, at any time, in any environment. So that's who I am in a nutshell.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive into this.
So we saw a post and I reposted it. And the post said, some of you are upset or angry with someone because of a lie. And oh gosh, it just sent off like bells and alarms in my head. And I reposted it and Valerie saw it. And so she's like, we're going to talk about that. So like, I'm so ready to dig into it. And the crazy thing is last night I was at church and I saw a woman who was a speaker. I have only ever met her 3 times. And then there was another woman that I've seen in passing, never have met her. She actually gets up in front of the entire church and publicly apologizes to this other woman and says, I am so sorry because I have not liked you for the last 2 years because of something that 2 other women said about you that was a lie. Didn't know you, knew it was a lie, found out it was a lie, still didn't like you, and I owe you an apology for that. And they hugged right there and made up. They prayed for each other. They ministered to each other. And then they talked after church. And it's like now the rest is just history. And I even believe that there's some things on the horizon for the next year. Like they're going to start connecting. And so I think that that's something we need to talk about because there's a lot of people, especially here where we live in Kentucky, for whatever reason, it's so easy to believe a lie.
Yep.
It's so easy to believe a lie rather than dig for the truth, search for the truth, ask for the
I
truth.
started saying, what about just asking?
I think sometimes either the truth scares someone or the process that you go through to get the truth. I think that some people, it gives them like this nervous feeling.
Yeah.
I think that they can feel, the word that I'm looking for is like, I don't know, help me out here, Valerie. I think that it can be kind of scary. It's not the word that I want to use, but it's like when you're nervous or you're scared of someone or a person and they don't know it, but like they're afraid though of that process of just seeking out the truth, of just asking the right questions or the challenging questions. They're just fearful of that. And that's challenging, but the peace that comes from it, the love that comes from it, the camaraderie that comes from it, the connections that comes from it. I mean, the dial down of drama that comes from it. You can hear one lie and that thing will take off like a wildfire.
Yes.
And you will believe it and you'll talk about it. And it's like, you know how you hear like a bass guitar?
Yes.
And it's like an amp, and that thing just turns up and turns up and turns up and turns up. But it's like, why is nobody just taking the time to do that to the truth?
Yep. Exactly.
Why is it so hard?
Why is it easier to tell a lie?
That's the real question.
Now I know for me, I can't lie. And we had this discussion. Like my face tells everything. And like, the girls, when we started the podcast, they wanted to play 2 truths and a lie. And I'm sitting over here telling them 3 truths. And they're like, Valerie, which one's a lie? And I was like, there isn't one. And they're like, you don't even know how to play the game right now. And I was like, I can't think of a lie. Like my brain just does not go there.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do you want to lie about it? Because then you have to keep up with that lie. Why not just tell the truth? And then you don't have to worry about a damn thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is it so hard?
Because the truth, the word just came to me. The truth is intimidating.
Yes.
The truth is intimidating. It shouldn't be, because to me, a person who, I don't like lying. I don't like liars. I don't like being lied on. Okay? And I'm not saying that I've never told a lie before. If I've ever had to tell a lie, the anxiety that goes through my body, that goes through my chest, it's like, where is my Prozac? Like, listen, what? I need something to help me calm down. You know what I mean? But when you tell the truth, it just brings this calm feeling. You just begin to relax. Your mind comes down because you don't have to cover up all of these things. Literally every time, I don't think people think about that. When you have to tell a lie, you literally have to keep telling more lies to cover up that lie. And then if you don't tell a lie to cover up a lie, you have to include other people in your lie.
Yes, you do.
So that you don't have to keep covering up your lie, because then it's easier to go with the lie if I have a few buddies, to join me in the lie. So then publicly I can make my lie make sense, because now it's like, well, they think this too, so it must be right. No, it's not right. You guys are just all liars.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I call it a habitual lie.
Yes.
And in church, I call it. I've had leaders, and I'm gonna go there.
Oh yes.
I've had leaders who will say, "No, that didn't happen. No, you didn't say that. No, they didn't do that. No, I don't remember that." And then they may come back a day or two later, a week later, or a month later, and they'll say, "The Holy Spirit reminded me that did happen. you did say that, or I did do that 21 days ago, or I did do that 31 days ago, or that did happen a year ago today. And then they'll just keep the conversation going. Now, in my mind, when I hear that, first thing I hear alarms. I literally will physically see alarms in my head. And I'm like, well, first, where's the apology? Where's the apology? That's the first thing. The second thing is, you just told a glorified lie.
Yes.
In church, I call it a glorified lie.
I never looked at it that way, but that's good.
It's a glorified lie.
It is.
It's a way of smoothing over. You know, I'm going to smooth over the fact that I didn't tell the truth the first time.
When you knew it.
When you knew it. Or, as we said before, when you didn't seek out the truth the first time.
Exactly.
And so it is, you know, it happens in church. It happens in relationships. It happens at work. You know, it happens with our girlfriends. You know, I had a conversation. I have a friend right now who's grieving. You know, she's grieving the loss of a very close loved one, right? And I have been reaching out to our friends saying, you know, we need help the day of the services. Who can help? You know, we need to just make sure that the family has what they need. And, you know, I think you figured out about me by now. Like, I'm very thorough, right?
Yes.
And so I had some of the girls came back and was like, we never had that conversation. We never had that conversation. And I'm like, okay, so what you should be saying is that you don't remember, or maybe we should just go back to the previous conversations we had where we discussed that someone has passed away and that we're trying to figure out how we can help the situation. Not that we didn't have the conversation, but that's just a glorified way of you either weaseling your way out of a moment. And so I don't know. The truth is just hard for people. It's hard for people, you know? And then, you know, in this day and time, we smooth it over. We send funny videos to each other. You know, we send GIFs. Or we say, oh, girl, this was so funny. I sent my best friend. She's one of my best friends. And I laughed at what she sent me. And then my way of addressing it was, I said, oh, I guess you're not mad at me anymore. Okay, happy Monday. All right. You have a good week too, sis.
Yes.
You know, but just addressing truth, addressing challenging conversations, addressing emotions.
Yeah.
It's hard for people. It's intimidating. But we live in a time where that cannot be an excuse anymore. We can't allow that to be intimidating. We lived through a pandemic. We lived through a time, guys, where people were dying literally by the second. And they were being dumped in trucks and ditches.
Yeah.
We lived through a time where we didn't have enough funeral homes, coffins, hospital beds.
Yep.
Like, we lived through a very pivotal time in history.
Yeah.
That should have taught us so much about life, about hard times and hard conversations, that in 2025, we should be able to deal with the intimidating things. What do you think about that?
I think that, here's the thing. That happened for a reason. It was to wake us all up. But you're always going to have those ones that just sit back and they don't want to be woke up. But then you have the ones that's already awake, that's aware of everything, and they're going to the top. And they're going to the top because down here on ground, it's too crowded. So you get to decide. Do you want to stay on the ground where it's all crowded with everybody? Or do you want to change your mindset and climb and go to the top? And we're going to the top because we already had that discussion.
Honey, and let me tell you about that, girl. You just made me think about something. Okay.
I love it.
So I have like 10 best friends, right? You know, we collect them over time.
Yes.
I think like in 2 years, me and you're going to be like, that's my best friend. And so I have.
I'm not even saying that. I'm like, this is my
sister.
What are you talking about?
My sister.
When you get those crazy people and they're like, you see how white she is, right? Yeah. Who cares? People adopt people all the time. Do you not know we was adopted?
Listen,
who cares?
I'm about to say something that's funny / like deep, okay?
I love it.
Literally, we were spiritually adopted, okay? So our daddy is the same, okay?
Yes.
So we really are sisters, right?
That is true.
So, but the friend that I told you that lives in Frankfurt, when we were in college, we told everybody we were sisters because we were together
all the time.
So much that everybody was like, what is going on here? And we were like, we're sisters. And I remember this guy, he's from Eastern Kentucky. He was like, wait, you're black. She's white with freckles and with red hair, right? And we were like, we got the same dad. We were like, and he was like, oh, that makes sense. And we were like, oh, this is working. So we told everybody in college that we were sisters with the same daddy. And for some reason, everybody believed it. And we just ran with it. And to this day, everybody thinks that we're sisters. So, but we got the same daddy. We were adopted, okay?
Same daddy.
Okay, so the thing about climbing the mountain. So my other friend from college, his name is Jacob Sarton. Love him to pieces. He's from Vanceburg. All my friends are from the country. Listen, I don't have a lot of city friends. Most of my friends are from the country. We used to talk about...
Why don't you tell them what you do all the time on the weekends? Where do you go? Tell them where you go.
What?
Because you said country, so I feel like this has to do with the country. Where are you at?
Oh.
Tell them where you like to go on the weekends, Erin. Just tell them. Because this is how I know this is my sister, right here.
So, I love to go to the gun range. And let's just say, sis is a good shot. I rarely ever miss. My daddy taught me how to use a rifle, I believe, when I was like 12. So I come from a veteran household. And yes.
I love it.
Yes.
She said, let me just put this gun here.
So, Buds, guys, at Buds, Monday nights is ladies' night. So for you ladies who need to slip away on Mondays, meet us at Buds, okay? So,
I love it.
So anyway, the mountain. So I remember one time when we were talking about that and we were like, man, like climbing to the top, it can be hard. Like we were just talking about, like, you look over the years at like who's your friend, who's not your friend. And then you're looking at your family members. Like you're like, oh man, I have this cousin that I grew up with and that was like my brother or my sister, and now I'm older and it's like we have nothing in common, or it's just like we're around each other and there's this unnecessary tension that can't seem to be even cut with a knife. It's just there, and it's like it just is what it is. And so I remember telling him that I remember watching movies like Ace Ventura, right, from me growing up, and just watching different movies, Mission Impossible, that kind of stuff. And anytime there's a scene where a person is climbing Mount Everest, as they're climbing, there's always somebody dying on the way up, freezing to death, or they'll get so far up and then they'll say, nope, I'm just going to turn around and go back down. I can't make it. There's even some people who get so far up and then they fall. They fall to their death. Everybody is not going to be able to climb Mount Everest, first of all. And everybody is not going to be able to climb your Mount Everest with you.
That's true.
They're not going to be willing to. They're not going to have the stamina to do it.
No.
They're not going to have the heart to say, I know that we both feel like our hands are frozen solid and we haven't eaten. And I feel like both of us just might die on the way up, but I'm going to climb it with you anyway. Everybody's not going to make it up there with you. And there's a possibility, because sometimes we have different mountains, right?
Yes.
We have different mountains in life. There's sometimes you're going to have to climb the mountain by yourself.
Yes.
And then there are times where, you're going to link up with somebody and it's like, okay, boom, we're going to climb this mountain and we're going to make it up there.
Yep.
Whether we get up there real fast or whether it takes us a little time to climb it.
Yep.
You know, and so I don't think that people think about that, especially when they start a business, when they start a ministry. You know, we talked about starting a movement, you know, even when you're starting a nonprofit, people, gosh, when they think about starting a nonprofit, they're like, all they think about first is free money.
Yep. Absolutely.
I'm going to start a nonprofit. It's going to be free money and I'm going to get grants and it's just going to be great and it's going to be blissful and everybody's going to love me because I'm doing this great thing for a great cause. No, there is going to be long nights, long weekends. There is going to be times where the money may not come through.
Yep.
And it may come right out of your pocket.
Yep.
There might be times where you have to be extremely creative to see a vision through or get through an event or make a scholarship funding possible for someone. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And so like people, they don't think about that. And so like when you're building a team, there's so much to think about when you're building a team. Shout out to Dr. Valerie Moore. She is amazing. If you don't know who she is, look her up. I went to a conference, I believe it was either 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. I went to a conference called the Say So Conference. Okay. Dr. Shope, who is her pastor, he taught a session on how to build a team. And even though I was raised in the church and I was raised, you know, Pentecostal or whatever, I would have never thought to look in the scriptures for how to build a team. The way that this man broke down how to build a team, what to look for, the integrity, the character, how they carry themselves, how they do business, their loyalty, their professionalism, their stamina to be able to stick around. When you have someone on your team that you just need to face it, they need to be fired. You know, or hey, maybe they're not in the right spot. They might be great for the team, but they don't need to handle the money because they like to go shopping.
Yes.
They like to go shopping and they like to pay their bills with the company card. You know, so, you know, maybe they need to do something different, you know, on the team, you know, or whatever it may be, you know, my breath amongst other people without tearing people down.
Yes, right? Let's talk about
and
it,
without
girl.
a lie coming out of your mouth, right? And without tearing someone down, right? And still being able to build them up and still speak well of them in a moment that wasn't the best moment.
Yes.
It's something we got to talk about.
We have to.
It's challenging. It's intimidating. But we got to do it.
We do.
Have you ever had a moment like that?
Yeah, recently. I mean, you know, we had that talk. You're the second to the last podcast recording.
Which I feel very honored.
Yes,
Thank
you. So, guys, I'm going to do the last podcast, and it's pretty much going to be like Valerie's 2024 wrapped up in one. So, you know, life, being a woman, being in business, your business splitting, having to rebrand, having to build everything back up. And it's going to be a good podcast. I may cry a little, maybe.
It's okay.
I don't know.
I'm prepared.
I don't know.
We have tissues on the side. We are prepared for tears tonight.
You know, it's just looking back, it was, you know, you look back at 2024, okay? And I want your opinion of your 2024 too. You're like, man, there was some great times. And then there's those WTF moments. And then there's WTH moments. And then you're like, you gotta wake up. Because you can't ever let this happen again. You have to do what you have to do to get where you want to be. I'm trying not to let out all the details right here. So it's just crazy because you know, as me and you, like, we just connected the first time we met. we wasn't expecting that. And it's like, man, like when you find another female that has that kind of mindset.
And we met online.
Yes.
We did not, guys, we did not meet in person.
No.
Until last week.
Yes.
We have been communicating online for months.
I'm trying to think. I believe it's like since March.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I think.
It's been a while.
And I'm just like I said, where the hell have you been? Like, what? What the hell? How is our schedule so messed up? And here she doesn't even have kids. So what the hell? Right?
Well, I have 22 godchildren, and I care for them literally
like
as if they were my children. My godchildren are spoiled, rotten, spoiled, rotten. If today was not my rest day, I have 3 sets of twins. And if today was not my rest day, I have this one particular twin that has me, it's not even, I'm not wrapped around his finger. Like, I'm wrapped around his entire body. Like,
how old is he?
He is 2. He's 2. And I mean, he's chunky. He has big hair and chunky cheeks.
I
and
love it.
You know, and he's not even like terrible twos. I think I would call him like emotional twos. He has 2 things that he does right now. He cries a lot, and he's emotional, and then he climbs on everything. That part's scary.
Yes.
When I do have children, I'm gonna have to have like Prozac for real, because like, how is the bed this high and you're just leaping off like it's Mount Everest, dude? Like,
girl,
where he climbs into my bed and he gets out of my bed on his own, and he's climbing up furniture, and he's climbing up, like, why are you on the bookshelf? What? You don't even read yet. What do you want up there? Like, but he has my heart, and anytime that I can hold him, rock him, soothe him, love on him, sing to him, watch Miss Rachel with him. I mean, even when I was, I was previously working for Aetna as a case manager, I didn't care that I worked at home remote. I still had my godson. My godson would literally sit underneath my work chair.
Love it.
Like he had his own fort. Yeah, he had his own fort. And I'm like, there's a couch, there's a playpen, there's toy trucks. Yeah. And then he would be quiet the entire day until Zoom meetings would start. And then it was like, now you want to talk, now you want to cry, now you need a meal, now you need a bottle. So I told someone today, I said, as much as I would love to have one boy and one girl, I think I'm going to be a boy mom.
I know. I don't even want to go there. Like, I'm just all about, let's just keep the children. Don't disrupt their little minds. Let them just be the baby.
Stay pure. Yes. Stay a child.
Yes. Don't bring all that stuff to the babies.
Oh.
Just let them play.
We were praying about that last night in church. Like, she mentioned, she was just like, we're not losing our kids. We're not losing our kids to this world. Like, if you want to not pay attention to yours or make them grow up too quick, or try to push them into the world too quick, do it. But we're going to pray for them. We're still going to read stories to them and do puzzles with them and bake cookies with them. And I know I had wrote this on Facebook around this time of year, when I was a child, all the way until I was like probably even like 14 or 15, my grandmother, my mother, my great aunties, they would have all of us get together, and we would back, I don't know why back in the day we called it puppy child, but they call it something now. Chex Mix calls it something different, where you melt your chocolate.
It was puppy chow when I was little.
Yeah, we called it puppy chow. You melt your chocolate and your peanut butter and your Chex Mix, and then you get your powdered sugar, and then we would have our pretzel rides, and we would do, we would dip it in chocolate, and we just, our toffee, and it's like, we should be doing that with
Making
our
all
kids.
the candies and the cookies.
Yeah, and you bag it up and you go pass it out, and you know, you go to the nursing home and you pass that stuff out, and you still go read books, and you still go sit on Santa's lap, and you, even if your child knows that Santa isn't real, because let's talk about that real quick. I remember my father didn't burst the bubble. We were snooping.
How old was you? Do you know?
I had to be at least 10 or 12.
Okay.
Okay?
That's bad.
And so in our house, our rules for taking out trash was when you take out the trash, you take the trash bags and we would line them up in our garage. And then on trash day, then it goes out, right? So me and my sister, we're like, there's a lot of trash bags in the garage. Like, where'd all this trash come from? Like, we didn't put this out here. And my mother had us on a schedule. Like, we had a dry erase board and everything. Like, she would, like, you know, trade out who was doing what chores. So we're like, who?
Did you bring this
Yeah,
up?
like, who? And so I'm like, well, the bag doesn't feel like, the bag's kind of plush. And so I'm like, let's just open up one. Like, let's just, like, carefully, because we can easily tie it back up. And so we're like, oh, there's gifts. And I'm like, oh man, guys, there's no Santa. Because my dad,
So they had the gifts out there in the trash bags.
next to the trash. Next to the trash.
That's a good way to hide it. But what happens if he sends one of you guys out there to take the trash out?
That's what we were thinking. So we got smart though. We started paying attention. We were like, so for now on, we're going to make sure that we count these bags each year and we keep like a divider. And my dad never takes out the trash because we were, you know, like we were doing, we did chores. My dad never, like he never had to take out the trash. So we're like, he's not going to know that we put a divider out here, right? And so like we got over that. But like when we would come down from Christmas, you know, my family was old school. We had one of those homemade tree skirts, and our names were knitted on it, and your gifts went where your name was. And my dad literally, he always had gifts from the floor to the ceiling. And then he would have like the dining room table, there would be gifts going all the way down the table. I mean it. Even as adults,
I love it.
it's still his. That's the one day of the year where he's dad. He's the number one dad on Christmas Day, right? So yeah, because now we know as adults we're like, so Black Friday's always been your thing. now we know, we're like, 'cause we were always like, our dad must be like rich, and like now we're like, no, because as adults we're like, on Thanksgiving night he goes to sleep. He gets up at 1, and my dad every year at 1 a.m. he gets up and he's gone until 4 p.m. the next day.
I love it.
So that's how he's been doing it all those years, right? So yeah, that's how we, you know, but you gotta let your kids stay kids. Like, yeah, they can have a tablet, but still go build a snowman. Still make your snow angels, you know, and
Where is the snow?
where?
I'm like still like,
Where are our snow days? Like our real snow days.
yes!
And you know, but back then though, we didn't get a lot of snow days because you had to walk to school. They didn't care. They're like,
Snow's up to here. It doesn't matter.
they're like 2-hour delay.
Yep.
You know, 2-hour delay. And you know, in Eastern Kentucky, when I went to college, I got really mad because they have heated sidewalks down there.
No, they don't.
Oh yes, they have heated sidewalks in Moorhead, Kentucky. My freshman year, I will never forget. First day of class, I had an 82-year-old English teacher, and she said, just to let you all know, when it gets cold, it doesn't matter here. I expect you all to slide to class. I was like, what? I was like, I was really looking forward to that. Like, I came down to the mountains so that I could get snowed in. Like, yeah, they have heated sidewalks in Eastern Kentucky. Wow. Yeah. But we gotta let our kids be kids. Like, get them bikes.
Yes.
Teach them how to ride their bikes, you know. Let them go to the park and, you know, just paint with them. And, you know.
You know what I figured out last year?
What?
So we got 3 windows in our living room. And we was going through paper and paper and paper, right? I said, you know what? What happens if we just paint the windows? So I set up their little table right in the middle window. And I said, you on that window, you on that window, you paint whatever you want.
I love it.
And he was like, I paint the window? I said, paint it. He's like, I'm painting the rainbow first. And then down here, I'm going to do all the dirt. And I need you to help me paint a digger. You know, because it's excavator, diggers.
Yeah.
He said, I need 2 diggers. And he said, and then we'll paint a sun. I said, okay. So, you know, he had all that.
It.
And then Sis is over here just la 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 la. And I'm just like,
unicorns and rainbows and glitter.
I'm like, this is what it's about. Like,
yes.
you know, I'm the type of mom that I don't care what they do, but do not draw on my walls. And that little girl, I'm yet to find it, but she has a crayon hid somewhere from me.
Oh.
And I can't find it. But every once in a while, I'll come out and and it's blue. And there'll just be some blue markings above the couch or right there by the door. And I'm always like, Sissy, where's this crayon? I want to color. Can I color with you?
Right, make it her idea.
Yeah. And she's like, no, Mommy.
What crayon?
I don't know.
Yeah, what?
And I'm like, Sawyer, did you see her with that crayon? He's like, no. Where did she get
So
that?
he's in on it.
I don't know. And I'm like,
he's not going to give her up.
I'm still, because I've looked everywhere for this blue crayon, and I'm like, where is this hid at? Like, I'm looking under the couch, in the couch.
Does she have a fort or
No.
like her special place?
No. So I can't find it. So I'm like, little girl, you are smart too. Let me just tell you. But it just cracks me
That's
up.
really interesting.
Because it's just like every so often there'll just be a little picture on the wall, and I'm just like, where did that come from? You know? And as moms, you know, you got to take your bathroom break, so when you come back, you're like,
oh, what if you got her the ones that are the erasable ones, but just sit it out just to see if she actually picks it up.
oh, she'll pick it up.
See if she picks it up and like just see.
Because I even got them those big water mats, and you give them the little pin that's filled with water, and then it makes the color on the mat, right? Oh, yeah.
No, I mean the ones that are for the wall.
I haven't seen them.
So there's they have the crayons and they have the markers, and then it comes with like this little like white, it's like an eraser. It looks like an eraser. And so maybe if you like sit it on like the living room table or something without the eraser, of course.
Yeah.
And just like let it sit there and just wait until she picks it up. And like it's going to be her idea to draw anyway. But then what she doesn't know is that you can make your picture, but I got this magic thing over here.
That's what I need to look into.
Yeah. That way, no matter when she, decides to be creative, or she decides that she wants to decorate for mom.
Yes.
That you can help her undo her creation.
I seen this TikTok mom, she took frames. And every time the kids would color on the wall or something, she would just put a frame over it. And I said, that is cute.
That is cute.
I said, but I ain't got time for all that.
But
I do love that.
It might tap into, people say your feng shui of whatever you got going on in your house. It's like, listen, I don't know have time for a little pony over here and
There's
rainbows
a frame
up
down here. There's a
here.
picture frame
Sis, we got to work on that.
That's
so
funny.
you were asking me about this year.
I want your 2024 wrapped up.
Okay, so
snowball.
Okay, so I started the year off. The beginning of my year was very colorful. I was working on a team with some women. Well, and I can take it back a little bit further. 5 years ago, I closed my individual business and I joined a team of 6 women.
Okay.
We all decided to bring our businesses together and house them together so that we would be one functioning team, and we would be basically like this event planning business, right? And so we had a little bit of everything: balloon person and flower person and this, that, and the third, right? And the amazing thing about it was everybody was really good at what they did. And all of us, we could multitask like nobody's business. It was like some freakazoid type stuff, like crazy, right? But that didn't quite work out, right? It didn't quite work out. And so over those years, the team started to kind of dwindle down. I mean, like we would have meetings and we would plan and we would strategize and we would even pray together and we would write everything down and we would make goals. And, you know, and the crazy thing is, to this day, even though we're not a full functioning team, we still gather once a year for a holiday gathering. We have a private holiday gathering once a year that is just for us. And I try to make it my business every year to spearhead that. So that no matter what, it doesn't matter if we're still in business together or not, we were friends first, right? And camaraderie is everything to me, right? We live in a time where division is just so easy. Right?
Yep.
Being fake is easy.
Yes.
Believing the lie is easy.
Yes. Come on, girl.
Gossip is easy.
Come on.
Slander is easy. Not having the hard conversations is easy. And I've always been that person since I was like literally in like kindergarten. Like I would be the kid on recess, like, hey, so Cassie said she needs to talk to you, and Becky, I think if she really like let's just talk about it. And like I wanted to be a lawyer. I've always said I wanted to be a lawyer.
I love it.
And so like I would literally be at recess like helping people fix their problems. And you know, it was like 5-year-old problems, but like I would be like helping people reconnect with each other. And it's like, okay, are you gonna tell her you're sorry? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let's hug it out. Like, okay, who wants to go get on a dinosaur? You know, all right, let's go get on the swings, guys. You know, so I've always been that person. So it's just, it's true to heart. This is who I am. So we do that every year. So needless to say, that business venture, as far as the 6 of us being able to be up under one umbrella, it didn't work. And we were covering more than Lexington. We were going to different states. We were going to different cities. We were supporting each other's businesses. It didn't matter who brought the contract. It was like, I got you. It doesn't matter if we're doing a business in a conference center. It doesn't matter if we're doing it at a park, or if, you know, your great auntie is like, hey, I really want to have this upscale tea party at my house. Can you come and flip the first floor of my house? Absolutely, we can come and do that, right? And so that didn't work, right? And so that dwindled down to 3 of us. And so the 3 of us continued to work together. All right. And so then I met the man of my dreams, Erin Pierre. And so we became friends online on a page on Facebook called, I'm gonna get it right, Saved, Single, and Celibate. And then there was a second page that we didn't know we were friends on called Saved, Single, with No Kids. And so these are actual social pages with people from all over the country who live the same lifestyle, same goals. They're entrepreneurs. They're all Christian, but they may be different denominations, right? And so you know how it is with Bourbon Boss Babes. You start different conversations, people chime in, you know, or whatever. And so people would do things literally like, hey, I have to drive through Lexington, Kentucky on Thursday at 5 p.m. Does anybody from the group live in Lexington? Would anybody like to get dinner? And so it could be 20 people on there that have never met each other and would say, let's meet at Champs. And we would meet. And that could happen in any city, in any state, at any given time. And so I became connected, right, with that group of people. And there was a conversation that happened in the group about celibacy before marriage, right? And who believed in it, who really didn't believe in it. You know, grown people, we just started talking like, well, who actually believes in this and who's actually participating in this lifestyle? You know, and some people say, you know, you should try the car before you drive it and all of that. And I do understand people who live by that and believe that, but for me, I was a virgin until I was married. Now, I did have some mild experiences, including molestation as well before I got married. So I've experienced a lot of different things, both wanted and unwanted. As I tell some of my clients, you know, we have unwanted and wanted experiences, right? Before I got married, but I was I call it a medical virgin, because some people in the church, they'll say, oh, well, if you've been touched this way or that way, then you're not a virgin. First of all, you're not a doctor. Second of all, my hymen's intact, okay? If you need to call my doctor, I can give you her number and her cell phone number, and she'll let you know that girl was a straight up virgin, right? Until she was married. We literally went to go see my doctor the day before we got married. Yeah. And then we went to go see her again 2 days after we got married, before we went to Mexico for our honeymoon. Yeah, so I was a real one. A real one. Yes. My husband spoke with my doctor on FaceTime before we decided we were getting married. All of that. Like he had a whole talk with my OB. Yes. Yes. So, yeah. So for those inquiring minds, over here, we keep it real.
You know, my mind just going all different directions.
We keep it real. We keep it real over here. We keep it real over here. Okay. So anyway, I met him, right? And we became friends through that page. And that was because the conversation that was started. And so I shared my 2 cents was, people who are having sex before marriage, that's your choice, right? That's your choice. That's your body. And that's between you and your God, whoever your God is. And on top of that, I tell people that even in Christianity, we make decisions by the second, right? Yep. And so some of those decisions lead to, in that moment, Jesus Christ was the one that was on the throne in my heart in that moment. And then sometimes we make decisions where we took him off the throne. And we either put something else on the throne, or we might have put ourselves on the throne in that moment. And then we have to go back and repent from that and make it right. And then we keep it moving, right? We keep it moving. We don't dwell on that, right? And so for me, with waiting until marriage, when people say, well, I need to test drive the car before I buy it. Well, I think about 2 things. My first car that I purchased with my money was a hoopty. Let's be real, okay? It was a 2005 gold Taurus, okay? The left side mirror was missing. And my father went to a junkyard and got me another one. My car was gold. My mirror was red. Okay.
Dad, could you not
so there's a lot that happens when you use a vehicle or you purchase a used vehicle.
It's true.
Okay. I'm gonna leave that for inquiring minds. If y'all have questions and you want me to really go there with me, you can contact me on social media, and we can definitely have that conversation. Okay. But out of respect for Valerie,
I love it.
I'm gonna keep it very clean but real. So, but when I bought my first brand new car, right? I bought a Ford Focus, and I bought that because that was the car that I learned how to drive in. My father, at 1 year, every 5 years, my father buys a new car for my mother. So my mother's a spoiled brat. Every 5 years, okay? My mother gets 2 things every 5 years. She gets a new wedding ring, She gets an upgraded new wedding ring, and my parents have been married for 39 years. And she gets a new car every 5 years.
I love it.
Okay? So the car that I learned how to drive in was my mother's brand new Ford Focus, right? So when it was time for me to buy a new car, you know, it was just a heart thing. I was like, I loved, you know, the Ford Focus. So my car came straight off the truck, right? I don't even think there was a mile on it. There was not even 1 mile on it. I didn't even, when they were like, you want to test drive it? I was like, maybe, you know, in the parking lot or something, but it's not even going to go off this parking lot. Okay. I got my car for a great price. And my car actually would have been paid in full right before I graduated with my master's. But I got into a car accident. This girl was drunk driving, and the night before I graduated with my master's, she ran into me and she totaled out my car. She totaled out my car, right? And so I think that there's something to be said when you have a brand new vehicle with no miles on it, that hasn't been touched or tampered with, right? You can look at it, you can know what you're getting, right? I think there's something to be said about that. And I when I say pride, I'm not saying it in a bad, prideful way, but I took pride in the fact that I was like, number one, there was a lot of intimacy mistakes that I made with men that I dated. We talked about one of them last week, right? Wish I would have never met him. 75% of me wishes that I would have never met him. 25% of me says, I'm glad I met him because it made me grow up. It made the grown woman in me arise, right? But I made mistakes with him that I should have never made, but I did those because I justified that, well, I'm going to marry this man, right? And he said he wants me to be his wife, right? And he's asked me to marry him, and he said he loves me. And, you know, when we're young, we talked about that. When we're young as women, we're not going to talk about the dumb things that men do. We'll just take ownership for ours. When we're young as women, we do things that we shouldn't do, right? And then we have to just learn from it and move on, right? So there was things that I should not have done, but I really, really loved the fact that there are ways that no one has seen me or touched me that only my husband will be able to say that he has. And I love that.
Yes, and you should.
You know what I'm saying?
You should.
And I can take that thing to the bank, right? And I know that God honors that. And here's a way that I know that God honors that. I know I'm no Beyonce, right? But Pastor Alicia Williams, God rest her soul, she just recently passed. She taught me about 7 years ago. She said something to me. This was the first time I met her, and this is the lesson she taught me, and it changed my life. She said, no, it was 12 years ago. Sorry, not 7. She said, become comfortable with yourself. She said, become comfortable with your hips, your thighs, your butt, your arms. She said, you got big arms, you're gonna own them. She said, your hair, your makeup, how you like to wear it, the kind of job you work, how you walk, how you talk. She said, you own it. She said, how do you expect someone to love you inside and out if you don't love you inside and out? So she said, you figure this out now, and you become comfortable with yourself now. And someone down the line, the right one, they will come and they will love you inside and out. So my name may not be Beyonce, right? I'm not Beyonce, no. My name is not in headlights. But baby, my husband, he takes care of me and treats me as if my name is Beyonce. Okay? Say my name, say my name.
Yes.
He say that name. Okay?
So you heard what you just said in our conversation before we started recording about this red dress. You're gonna own it.
I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna listen. I can't wait. You guys, I have bought this dress for my first year anniversary. It's in my husband's favorite color, and I just cannot wait to wear it. Like, I can't wait for him to see me in it. I can't wait. So we got married. We were only courting for like 6 months. We were friends for like 3.5 to 4 years, right? Met each other through an online space. Then decided, let's meet. Our very first date was at a gala held in the East Coast for my aunt when she turned 80. So our very first date, this tells you how strong of an individual he is. He met my parents, my grandparents, he met my great uncles and aunts, and a host of cousins. And not my country cousins, right? Because my country cousins are really sweet. My country cousins are really sweet. They're like really easy to take in. No, he met my East Coast family. He met Philly, Delaware, Baltimore, New York, Washington, D.C.
But where is he from?
He's from the New York and Jersey area. So they're just as cutthroat as he is, right? So he handled himself. Not to mention, they asked me an hour before the event to step in as the coordinator. So not only that, he has to see me go from sweet, as my god sister calls it, soft and supple, right? Sassy, curls was bouncing and behaving, to boss mode. So he was like, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm just working. And this is when I knew he was the one. He said, well, what can I do? And he just jumps in with me. And he works the event with me while also juggling all these people threatening him, cornering him. And I'm listening, as I'm working, we multitask.
Yes.
As I'm hearing them threaten him, I hear one person threaten him, and I hear my husband say, what's understood does not need to be explained.
Hello.
Like, I'm a size 6.5. And I like rose gold.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm looking over at my mama, and my mama's looking at me, and I'm like, oh,
smiling.
girl, we're going to talk about this when we get back to the hotel. And I got back to the hotel, and I spoke to my grandmother. I said, what you think? My grandmother said, I love him. I said, listen, that's the only thing I care about what my mama got to say. My grandma gave me the green light. Oh, girl, we're
going.
We good. And so, because I'm like this with both of my grandmothers, and I was like that with all of my great grandmothers, right? So their word means a lot. It means a lot to me. That's why I act so old, girl. And so we get through that, and mind you, still, this is the first date. First date is a matter of 5-day trip. He says, not can I date you, can I court you? I would like to court you. I'm leaving, go home. We both crying. I don't want you to go home. I don't want to go home. And so after that, we said, okay, we're going to fly to see each other every 3 months. But then we started seeing each other like every other month, sometimes every month. So then we're like, oh, this is like, okay, this is real. I told my leaders about him, my previous church, told them about him. And next thing you know, I go down for Thanksgiving, and I just had that feeling like he might do it, he might not do it. And I'm like, either way, I'm going to be ready. So when I got on my plane, there's a website where you can like book hairstylists. I think it's called styleseat.com.
Okay.
I get on there and start looking up makeup artists in Jersey. And I'm like, God, you know my need. I only got like $100 to spend on this face today. And literally, this girl was like, send me the address, I got you. And I get to Jersey, my cousin picks me up, and I'm like, something really is fishy, because everybody's acting really weird. But I'm like, still, my husband is the type, like, he has a really good poker face. So I'm like, if he doesn't propose, I'm gonna look stupid, or I'm gonna feel stupid, but I'm like, but I'm gonna look really cute though. Okay, like, if he doesn't propose tonight, I'm still gonna look really, really good. And so the girl came to my Airbnb, and I just had this feeling like this is gonna be an amazing week. I went down there. I had Thanksgiving with my now in-laws, and it was my first time staying at an Airbnb where I shared the home with the family who owned it.
Oh.
Right. Most people are terrified of doing that. It was a Hispanic family. They cooked dinner for me every night. They made me steak and everything. They baked me cookies. The whole back side of the house was mine. I had my own room, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, everything. I mean, it was like family. They got gifts for me. I had gifts for them. It was beautiful. It was like the perfect trip. And so I'm a Christmas person, and he knows that. And he knows that I'm in love with the Nutcracker. So we went to a restaurant, and it had these 8-foot tall nutcrackers. And he proposed to me out front with the nutcrackers. And so when he got on one knee, he said, I don't want to walk in this restaurant with you as my girlfriend. I want to walk in this restaurant with you as my fiance. Will you be my wife? And so in the back of my mind, I'm like, as an event planner, I'm like, where's the violins and where's the flowers and it's like there should be fireworks. But at the same time, there was still a peace and such a happiness and a bliss, because I told him, baby, do it the way you want to do it. Do it in a way that's going to make you feel proud. Do it in a way that I will remember it and you will remember it, and it will be special to the both of us. And whether that is with my friends and my family screaming and acting like a nut, right? Because my mother was like, I was supposed to be there for that moment. But, or if it's just the two of us in private. Because guess what? In marriage, it's the two of us. It ain't gonna be everybody else. Maybe for the holidays or something. But in marriage, it's the two of you. And so we got engaged in November. We got married in February. And we got majorly judged for that. People were like, you need to wait. You're rushing it. And no, I didn't have my dream wedding. And I will, maybe, I'll have my dream wedding. I'm not gonna say maybe, I'll have my dream wedding. But what I thought about was, I want to be with this man. He wants to be with me. God has answered both of our prayers. We lived through the pandemic. We don't want to lose anyone else that we want to be here to witness this.
Yes.
He's lost a grandmother, right? I've lost my sister. We are both already grieved over the fact that two people that are extremely important to us won't share this day. And if we wait 18 months or another 12 months and we lose someone else that we really wanted to be here to witness this. I'm a wedding planner. I plan weddings in my sleep. Right? And a lot of people are like, your wedding was grand. I'm like, no, it wasn't. What's grand in my head and what's grand to everybody else is different. But for a small scale wedding that I did have, it was nice. It was detailed, and it was exactly what we wanted and what we needed for that day, right? And that's a whole other podcast. I mean, people acted crazy that day. I mean, it was like everybody, I don't know, like they fell asleep and their brains, I don't know, slid out of their ears or something. Like they were crazy. But he sang to me down the aisle, and I thought he was gonna cry. I thought my dad was gonna freak out. No, I cried. I mean, I sobbed, and I held on to my dad. You would have thought that my dad was taking me down to the county jail to turn me in. I was like, Daddy, don't let me go. Don't let me go. But at the same time, I was like, no, let me go. Take my hand, please. It was the weirdest feeling. It was like, bye. But at the same time, it was like, hold on, wait.
Daddy?
Right. You still gonna pay some of my bills, and so I still get to go shopping on your credit card, and are you still gonna send cash apps and pray for me, and when we go out to dinner, are you still gonna pay for it, and And it was like, but wait, but you paid for my shoes last week, and I love you, So it was, and then he was just singing so beautifully to me, and the words, and I, in every single word he sang, I knew the words to the song, and so that moment, it was so real. It was, people say cloud nine. I was past cloud nine. And then we worshiped together. And then after we worshiped together, out of nowhere, my husband just started praying for me. And then after he prayed for me, then I started praying for him. And then it was like, okay, we can go home. Thank you for coming. I had family members. They were like, we flew in town from New York. You're not coming to hang out? I was like, we're on our way to the hotel.
This is my husband now. I gotta go.
I have duties.
I gotta get this dress off. You don't understand how old I am right now.
Yeah, I was like, y'all don't understand. This thing laces up from the floor up.
Can you get all 18 of those buttons unbuttoned real quick?
Yeah. That's a funny story in itself. Listen, when we got to the hotel, he was like, how do we get you out of it? And so it was interesting going through the transition of the 6 splitting, right? Then I met him, right? This man who comes in my life and is like, mind you, God had just told me, I don't want you on those sites anymore. He said, I'm going to make a change in your life and I want you to commit to it. And I was like, but I'm having fun. I just started having fun. There's nothing to do. We only can go around with like 10 people at a time and I'm stuck in the house. Like, I'm having fun right now. And he's like, no, this is what I want you to do. So I committed to that. Right? I said yes to God. And in that same week, my husband now, who was just my friend, who I had no interest in, says, I want to get to know you on a deeper level, if you're okay with it. As friends. And I said, this is what God said. Can you respect it? And he said, I can respect it. And the friendship flourished naturally into what it became. So to those who are like, where did he come from? That's where he came from. He came from obedience. Listen, that's a whole other thing. Where did he come from? He came from obedience, literally. And no, I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. We're not perfect, right? But he is the missing puzzle piece for me.
Yeah.
Because I tell people all the time, there is no perfect man. There is no perfect woman. But I believe that we're all literally, like, you're a puzzle piece. There's always a piece here and a piece there and a piece there. And God, he provides a piece here and a piece there and a piece here and a piece there as time goes on, right? Definitely according to our obedience, because obedience just completely opens doors, right? Those pieces will just like, they will flood in.
Yes.
It's like an overflow, right? But the thing about a spouse, it's like when that piece gets there, it's like, oh, okay. Well, that's what was missing. Cool. And even on the days where, you want to kill him, like, you're like, I will burn this house down with all of us in it.
How you gonna burn down a house? Where's he at right now?
Okay, so we're going on to that one. All right. So me and my spouse, we are long distance. Our first year of marriage is long distance because, one, I love him enough to not ask him to give up his career. I am so proud of him to be his age, to have the type of career that he has. He got a promotion close to the time that we were getting ready to get married / engaged. And the promotion came with a very big jump, financially. And when you come from a wholesome family, because a lot of girls, that's part of their issue. They got daddy problems. So they don't know what it is to have mama and daddy in the house, number one, let alone a stable father who shows them what a man does. So coming from that background, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to ask my husband to give up something that he worked really, really hard for, and that I was his friend through the entire process. I saw them do that So I'm like, I can do it. My parents have been married for 39 years. It wasn't easy, but surely my marriage can handle it for at least a year.
Yeah.
Hopefully not 2, but at least a year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure that I'm pushing, supporting him, praying for him. You know what I mean? I'm making sure that I'm establishing a good name for him here in Kentucky, so that when he does when he does move here, he's greeted with open arms. He has a good name. And guess what? He's moving here in 2 months. He already has contracts here. He already has a good name here. People already love him here.
I love it.
He's already reproduced an album
That's good.
for someone, and it's good. It's good. You know? So, is it hard sometimes? No. Because I'm too independent. Let's be honest. What's going to be hard is,
It's going to be hard when he moves in.
yeah, like, he's here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, intimacy is so much more than just what takes place in the bed. You know, and this is coming from someone who, yes, was a virgin 10 months ago when I got married. I still have so much more learning to do. Yes, I know that. I understand that. Y'all don't put it in the comments. You know, write me in my inbox, whatever. I have a lot of learning to do. I understand that. But we have an amazing marriage counselor. Amazing. If you are courting, if you're dating, if you're figuring it out, if you think you want to get divorced or whatever, please inbox me. I will tell you who we went to, who we are still going to. Mind you, being a person who I'm pursuing my LCSW, right? And it's going to be a policy for me when I start doing marriage and family therapy with people. It's going to be a part of my package. If I do your premarital counseling post, it's a must, because people don't think about the fact that, yes, there's a preparation period, but what happens, and I'm not saying that we go through this, because I actually love my mother-in-law. Like, I'm so in love with my mother-in-law that I actually asked for her maiden name. My husband's jealous, y'all. He's jealous. He's so jealous of the relationship that I have with my mother-in-law. We are best friends. Like, me, my mother-in-law, and my mother, we could go on a cruise and like leave them behind for like a month.
That's good.
And we would be fine. But what if you marry somebody whose mom doesn't have boundaries? Right.
A problem.
And what if that's not dealt with before you get married? Or what if he hides it so well, right, during the dating and the courting and the engagement, and then you get married and it's like, she keeps calling, or when did she get a key to our house? Or, you know what I mean? Or like, she keeps popping up. Or does she have a problem with my casserole recipe? Because she keeps dropping off hers every Wednesday at 6. You know, if that's going to irritate you.
Yes.
You know, there's all these little things, you know, and sometimes it could just be quirks. Everybody has their own quirks, you know? So, like, there's all these things that you look at and you work through and you talk through, and whether it's bedroom issues, or whether it's communication issues, or whether it's, where are we going to go to church? You know, hey, I grew up this way, you grew up this way. We are trying to, you know, bring this thing together, right? Or believe it or not, some people grew up in the same denomination, but they still don't believe the same thing. Or they grew up in the same denomination, but they do not live the same lifestyle. Right? That guy that I was on and off with for 4 years.
Yes.
I told you, when you have to ask an actual preacher, do you actually believe in the things that you preach? Do they apply to you? And they say, no. It applies to the people I preach it to, but no, it doesn't apply to me. I do what I want.
No.
You know, so you need a counselor to be able to be like, okay, let's walk through the posts and let's walk through the pre, so that we can be successful. Because I understand from my mental health training, but now also as a wedding professional, right? I've done this for 18 years. You know how many times I've had couples, the wedding's off, the wedding's on, my own family members. Y'all have called the wedding off 6 times. Like, you know what I mean? Or after, the aftercare. Because I do aftercare for my couples. I check on them. I send them gifts, everything. I do aftercare. And that might be the social worker in me, but it's because I love all my clients.
Yeah.
Even the crazy ones. Like, you could be a crazy bride. That's okay. It's whatever. It's your wedding day. I'm still going to give that aftercare to you after your wedding, right? You need to be able to have the hard conversations. You need to be able to have this support system, and the privacy, right? That does not come from your mama, your daddy, his mama, his daddy, their cousin, their auntie, all of that, everybody all up in your business. You really do need a safe place, a safe space where we can let it all hang out, we can talk, and as much as we would love to be able to say, well, this is where pastoral care comes in. Some pastors are not, Erin, choose your words wisely. Some pastors are not equipped, right? When I go into a doctor's office, the very first thing I look for is their credentialing on the wall. I don't care if I'm going to the dentist. I don't care when I started my weight loss process, right? And they make you go see the heart doctor.
Yeah.
It's a must. You have to go see a heart doctor. I looked on the wall. I want to know, where did you go to school?
Yeah.
Was it ICDC? You remember when what was that rapper? I forget it. Whatever his name was, and ICDC, the community college that no longer exists, that did not have accreditation. Okay. Did you go to ICDC community college, or did you go to UK Medical? You get what I'm saying?
Big difference.
Where did you go? Who credentialed you? Who trained you?
Yeah.
So it's like pastoral care. Sometimes it's helpful, but they may not be equipped for the crisis. They may not be equipped. You know how many brides, how many friends I have, their very first year they get pregnant. 90% of them, of my clients in 18 years, 90% of them, the first year that they get married, they have a miscarriage. The first or second child is usually a miscarriage. You don't hear about it at the church. You don't hear about aftercare. You don't hear about support group. You don't hear, let's pray for them. You don't hear, we're going to drop off a basket for her. You don't hear, we're going to do a meal train for 2 weeks so that she doesn't have to worry about cooking for her family, so she can just heal and rest. You don't hear, I remember I used to ask, every church I've served in, I've always asked in women's group, hey, in women's group and in men's group, is this ever going to be a topic that we discuss? How do we prepare or recover from a miscarriage? Because the woman goes through mental issues and emotional issues and physical issues. Okay? The man, he goes through his stuff, and half of the time he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to say, and eventually he grieves because it's a loss. But he's so worried about her because he's thinking like it's more so important to look after her, but he still lost a child too.
Yeah.
Right? And so where is their community when this happens? I remember one of my best friends in college, the first time she experienced that, everybody thought I was crazy for still being her friend, because they were like, she is mean as, okay? I'm gonna keep it cute for the saints. Okay, I'm keeping it transparent for the ain'ts, and I'm keeping it transparent and cute for the saints tonight. Okay. Listen, everybody was being a hater. She is still one of my best friends to this day. We probably only see each other 2, maybe 3 times a year. She was even my roommate in college. And everybody was like, she's mean. She's crazy. Her mouth is sharp. But she went through something critical. Her mind, her brain. Okay? Do you understand the things that was transmitting through her brain? Her body, her emotions. She's in college. She's away from home. So yes, the super sweet Care Bear. They used to call me Sugar Bear back then. That used to be my nickname. And now I'm okay with people knowing that. I used to, don't call me that. My name was Sugar Bear back then. Yes, I am with who y'all trying to call Eveline. I'm still her best friend. So what? She needs a support system. She needs someone to love on her. She needs someone to pray with her. She still also needs someone to say, okay, after you recover from this, don't forget to also repent. Because you slept with somebody that wasn't your spouse. And hey, let's go get a necklace for the baby. Let's go get baby a bracelet or something. You know, we need to light a candle. You know what I mean? Let's go get Mexican because you like Mexican. You know, Fridays you like Chinese. Let's do that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
6 months of aftercare. You know what I mean? Because she still needs to heal. She still needs love. She still needs to feel the love of God. But she also needs the transparency. She still needs the challenging conversation. She still needs somebody to be real with her.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, you know, we don't talk about those things, but that's necessary. We need the counselors. So the pastoral care, it doesn't always cover the different types of things that we go through in relationships and in courtship and in even when we're dating. We're just in a dating phase. You know what I mean? Whether we're dating and nothing sinful happens, or whether we're dating and hey, we sinned.
Yeah.
And people want to call it a slip up, but a sin is not a slip up. Look, I made a decision.
Yep.
Like earlier, we said, you know, as a Christian, Jesus sits on the throne in our life.
Yes.
And then there are moments where we take him off the throne, we put something else on the throne. Sometimes we put ourselves on the throne, right? And so sometimes the pastoral care, they are prepared for that moment. And then there are times they are literally not prepared. I'm about to tell you something extremely transparent.
Let's go.
There was a time when, thank you. There was a time when my previous leader from the very last church I was at, I hit on that glorified lie a little bit, right? He preached on sin. Preached on sin one Sunday and repentance. And it brought me to a place of conviction, right? I was like, ooh, sis, you on that fine line right now. Like, you about to slip up. Like, you know you about to slip up, right? And so I went into the office and I was like, can I talk to you? Just give me like 5 minutes. Like, yeah, what's going on? And, you know, my leader knew that I was a transparent person. They knew me way before I was a member of their church, right? And I was like, listen, I'm ready to start having sex. I'm in my mid-30s. My hormones is raging. I'm ready to get it on. I'm waiting on Jesus. I'm trying to. But just like this watch, it ain't even ticking no more. It's broke. Okay? It's as old as my grandma. That's who gave it to me. I'm ready to get this thing on and popping.
I love it.
Okay? I told my leader, I said, I need prayer. And I need you to know up front that I'm weak. Who was that? SWV? I is so weak in the knees. I can't, baby couldn't sleep. But listen, that thing was about to take me down. And I was like, you know what? We just gonna repent. Because like I said, I'm not Beyonce. But like I said, Pastor Arlesia, she taught me to become comfortable in my own skin. So because I was comfortable with myself, and as my other friend Lance, he said, you have finally come into yourself. And when you have come into yourself, I don't care what you think about me. I'm cute. Okay? Whether I'm 600 pounds, 300 pounds, or 150. I'm cute. I come from a line of cute, plus size, plump, plush women. Okay? In Eastern Kentucky, we call them Hebrew women. Bigums. Okay? But yeah, just because you're a Hebrew woman don't mean you don't carry yourself well.
That's right.
Right? We was talking about them Spanx and stuff last week. Okay? Fruit of the Looms, breathables. Nothing should be moving on you but your feet when you walk. We cutting up. But because I carry myself that way, men are drawn to that, right? They're attracted to that, right? It's part of what my listen, I'm 35, y'all. My husband's 28. Take that to the bank.
You little cougar.
God is good, girl. He's so good. He's so good. He just blessed me. Thank you. He blessed me. But so, at the time, it's like, first of all, I want to have sex. Right? Second of all, I'm about to be, because you can feel when you're about to be in a relationship with somebody. It's one thing when you like, I'm attracted to them, they're attracted to me. Okay, that's one thing. I like you, you like me. That's different. Oh, no, like, it's about to be like a relationship type of thing. Like, I don't never pay for dinner no more. Like, I get gifts, I get cash apps, I get purses in the mail, and like, and that's a different type of attraction, right? So with that attraction comes like a drawing, and then that's with that drawing, it's like, oh no, like I want that, and that wants me. And here's the crazy thing: the man that is now my overseer told me, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago, I told him about the man who's now my husband. It's a man, he's 72 years old. Been hearing him preach for the last 5 years. And he asked me, he said, why are you telling me about him? I said, because I know that you're my spiritual father. I said, I'm not going to shake that. I know who you are to me. I don't know when it will come into fruition, but I know who you are to me. Okay? That was 3 years ago. I'm walking into the new year. He is now not only my leader, he is my spiritual father. Okay? He had an entire conversation with me before I got on the plane. Erin, walk in wisdom. He's still a man. You're still a woman. You're attractive. Blah, 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 blah. Whole conversation. Didn't get deep, wasn't spiritual, wasn't none of that. So I'm an honest enough person that I went to my actual leader and said, look, I need you to pray. Just keep me in prayer. I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I ain't saying I'm not going to do it. Because it ain't even that I'm even in a relationship yet with this now husband. But it's a lot of men coming after me. But they were just throwing it. I'm like,
Where you guys been?
and on top of that, who just does this? Well, you know, all the women, they used to say it's unseemly. So what kind of grown men? Who raised y'all? Have some tact. You know, because this generation, they send pictures and videos and all of this crazy stuff. I don't want that. Don't send that to me.
No,
I'm not even enticed by that.
me neither. I think it's disgusting. If I open my phone and see that, I'm just like, are you
Distasteful. It's the quickest way to get blocked from me.
And it's crazy because, women, they're like, I get all these DMs in my inbox and you should see these pictures. And I'm sitting over here like, I've had one since I've had Facebook. Since Facebook started. One. I open that, block, delete. And I've never had another one. I was like, I don't know what you women are doing to get these.
See, this is, and I've said this publicly. I've told them, I blame you hoes. I blame you regular schmegular hoes. Now, we got some good hoes out there now. You got the ones, they paid, they doing it right. All right? And I'm saying this from a place of peace. I know, because I got some hoes in my family. They real ones, okay? They don't go below the bar. They judges, your lawyers, politicians. They don't pay their bills. They go out the country. They got standards. Now, if you're going to be a hoe and you deciding that you don't want to live for Jesus Christ, that's fine. Be a hoe with some standards. I used to tell girls even when I was in college, that man might buy you some flowers, get you some new lamps or something for your dorm room, something, take you out to eat off campus. Don't take me to eat on campus. Don't swipe your meal card. You didn't pay for that. That's not a pay for meal. Take me off campus. At least take me to the Chinese restaurant, You know what I'm saying? Like, have some standards if you're going to be a hoe. But we got women who do it for nothing. They accept nothing. They just put whatever out there. Excuse me. They just put whatever out there. They put their bodies out there. This includes women in the church. Me and my friend, because we keeping it real. All right? We keeping it real. Me and my friend, we were talking tonight about how we don't blame the generation before us because they did the best that they could to equip us, right? And so we have to take what we do have and we have to build with that. And what we don't have, we have to go after that.
Yes.
Right? And so I was telling her about how I went to church. This was like somewhere in the last 10 years. And I had to minister at this church here. It was say in the vicinity of Kentucky. And this young lady who is a pastor's daughter, she decided to wear a cute skirt but a transparent top. This is not the club. This is not the club, and you're not meeting your boyfriend at the Motel 6. And so I proceeded to actually have a conversation with her. Your mother's a pastor, your father's a pastor, your stepmother's a first lady or whatever. I know you have the means to, dress well. You ain't got to put on a choir robe. This ain't the 60s, this ain't the 70s.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to have on some ruffled top, with the thick white stockings. I'm not asking for that, But we're not going to come into church with a top that looks like a pair of sheer stockings with a bra on.
No.
And that's whether you're sitting in the pulpit or whether you're sitting in the pew. It's not appropriate. You knew it wasn't appropriate when you put it on.
Nope.
And I explained to her, what you put out is what you will attract in. So you can't get on social media and you can't call yourself being upset with people for calling you a hoe or treating you like a hoe or sending you dick pics, right? Or not taking you on a nice date, or he won't buy me flowers or whatever. Well, you're not presenting yourself as a woman or a young lady or an individual who has the standard of that's what you want.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
I told one of my guy friends earlier, I said, when I was in my mid-20s, I got really sick. I got I got so sick one year, I had 5 surgeries back to back to back to back to back. They thought I had cancer. They thought I had like 2 different types of cancer. And I got really sick. And so my male companion at the time was full-time military, right? Which is another type of guy that was attracted to me, was full, got military guys. Cause my dad, right? And so he saw that I was a hard worker. I was educated as well. We had the same degrees and everything. He thought that I would normally take care of my business. But I was sick. Paid my bills. He made sure my cell phone stayed on. When he was not full-time in the military, he actually worked for the same bank that I banked with. He had my account number. He would just load money into my bank account. Buy flowers. He knew, for those of you who still think that it's unwise for a man to step into your living room, right? He knew that I was into having tea and that I was into ceramics. Like, so not only do I like going to the gun range, but I like making pottery. I like getting the getting the clay on the wheel, working with it, painting it, and all of that. It's really good too for when you need to just like, instead of like going and Shawshanking somebody, just just go to a pottery shop, sis, and it's a safer space to do it, right? So because I loved ceramics and he saw that, he actually went to a Japanese tea store, an expensive one, right? Bought me this beautiful tea set. He bought a specific set that could be used for decor, it could be used for entertainment, or it could just be used for just my personal tea time. Now, at first I was mad because I was in my 20s, so I was like, where's the flowers? Where's the big teddy bear? What am I, 80?
What is this?
A tea set. But I remember calling my girlfriend, my best friend, excuse me, and make that clear, I'm heterosexual. My best friend at the time, she was a root who got plucked out, unfortunately. And she was a paralegal. So, she was one of those friends, like straight FBI. And so I was like, well, this was really sweet. She said, well, let's just really see how let's see what his heart was like. So she says, is there a receipt? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, but is there a price on it? And I'm like, strangely, no. And she's like, it's okay. Send me a picture of the receipt. The receipt didn't even have the name of the store on it. She does all of this research and still tracks down the store it came from. This store, she finds out that the store it came from, this is a tea set that's like this small. It's like a $250 tea set. It's an authentic Japanese tea set. It matches my living room suit. Yes. And all the tea sets that are sold in this store have stories that are written for them. Storylines. Specific. The storyline that went with that tea set that also matches my living room suit. And he knows I like to entertain, I love tea, I love ceramics, all of that. It says love at first sight. And he was the first man I loved. He was. He was the first man I loved. So, this generation after us, they have a lot of learning to do about what they put out and what they attract in and the consistency of that. And not only that, the bridges that they build and the bridges that they burn. Yes. Which I think that should be a whole podcast for next year. The bridges that they build and the bridges that they burn. Like,
girl.
Because we understand that. How we leave a job is important.
Yep.
How we leave a church is important.
Yep.
How we divide a business is important.
Yes.
My business partner is not my business partner anymore. But my business partner is now my ministry partner. My business partner is my sister. My business partner is basically one of my best friends. My business partner is the mother of my godchildren. My business partner, if she needed me right now, and if she asked me for X amount of dollars and I had it, I'm going to wire it to her. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
If she called me right now and said, hey, I need to go to Africa. I have something that I need to take care of in Africa, and I need you to either go with me, and she's actually said this, I either need you to go with me, or me and my husband need to go, and I need you and your husband to watch over the church while me and my husband go. I trust you to do it. We've split our business. But we still know how to operate in a certain capacity. We still have a certain level of respect for each other. We still have, the bridge is not burned, it's not torn, it's not raggedy. It's another one, raggedy Christians, raggedy friends. And listen, if you've been a raggedy friend, it's okay, say sorry. Go back and say sorry. If you've been a raggedy business partner, go back and say sorry. Now, that don't mean that you're going to be back being friends or being business partners. It just means I forgive you for being raggedy.
Yep.
Jesus Christ sits on the throne in my life, so therefore I love you. And hopefully you love me too. And I'll say hi to you when I see you at Applebee's, and we'll go from there. You know, because I mean, because here's the reality: everybody's had a moment where they were raggedy.
Yeah.
You either lied, you cheated, you didn't tell the truth, you forgot something, you misbehaved, you misrepresented, you misunderstood, you know, you got something wrong. You know what I mean? Everybody has had that moment.
Yes.
But to go back and have that intimidating conversation, that challenging conversation,
Yes.
with the right heart, with the right motives,
Yep.
and it be fruitful,
Yes.
because we need it to be fruitful so that there's some type of substance that comes from it. It doesn't mean that we're going to be buddy-buddy. It doesn't mean that we're going to reconnect. Hey, we may not reconnect now, but what happens if in 5 to 10 years or in 2 years or in 3 years, for some reason we need to reconnect?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
What if, I don't know, let's just say, I don't know, we had a business together and we split and I'm a DJ. I think I would be a bomb DJ. I really do. I think I would be like a bomb DJ.
Add that to the list.
Like I would. And you know the crazy thing is when I do parties, the DJs, they don't MC. They give me the mic.
They do?
They do. And I'm like, what did we hire you for? I mean, like, if this is what I was gonna do all night, like I could have did the playlist. I'm gonna walk around with a microphone all night. Like, what are you here for? But we split, we fall out, we reconnect and say, okay, something happened that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're sorry, I was wrong, you were wrong, or I was wrong, I'm sorry I did what I did to you. You know, I'm going to try to make sure it doesn't happen again. I'll work on my stuff. You know what I mean? I'll work on it. I'll tighten up. That's what me and my brother say. People get really intimidated by people like me and my brother.
Yeah.
Me and my brother, we lose and gain friends and family members because we use words like that. Like, you need to tighten up. But we also expect people to come to us when we need to tighten up. Like one of my issues, you seen it tonight. I can be late. Church is mighty quiet. I don't have a lot of issues. I'm a really, like, I'm a great person. I really am. I'm when God made me, he did his thing. But baby, I can be late. But in 2025, I'm gonna try. The Bible talks about being more than a conqueror. I'm gonna try to conquer that. If not for 6 months or 3 months, some type of interval, I'm gonna try to, if not for the whole 12 months. At some point, I'm going to be more than a conqueror.
You just have to set those alarms on that phone.
Girl, I got so many. If I showed you how many alarms I had on my phone, it's embarrassing. Now task, I can keep task.
Yeah.
But that on time thing, it's a mess.
I just slide in right there at the edge.
You know what? In the beginning of the year, that's what I'm gonna do.
Just
And then if I can get that, then I'll make another goal.
Yes.
So we're gonna work on that. That's gonna be a part of my contingency plan. We're gonna put that on Chat GPT. We're gonna put that on Chat GPT. But what was I saying? ADHD girl. Tighten up.
Yes, tighten up.
If we come back together, let's say you're an event planner and 6 months pass, a year or 2 years pass, right?
Yeah.
And you're in a bind. You may not have the money.
Yeah.
Or you may have a client that only has a certain amount of money that can afford my services. Nobody else will take them. Yeah. But you know for a fact, like, ooh, I know she'll do it. The bridge is not burned.
Yeah.
The bridge is not falling apart to the point that I can't call you and say, hey, I got this. Can you take it? I don't mean we got to go out for coffee or any of that. Yeah. It's just as simple as this is a business transaction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, if it leads to an open door of camaraderie, great. But it doesn't have to. It's just as simple as that bridge doesn't have to be torn and worn out.
That's right.
You know, I kind of see an illustration of, do you remember that movie, Will Smith was in a movie called iBot or iRobot or something like that. He played you know, and you remember that the robot kept, he kept drawing this illustration of a bridge.
Yeah.
And it was like this side of the bridge was torn and this side of the bridge was torn, but like the middle of it was still established.
Yeah.
It does not have to be that way.
Nope.
Like no parts of the bridge should have to be missing. We should be able to exit and come in and on. You know what I'm saying? Exit and enter. I'm sorry. Exit and enter the bridge anytime that we need to. And it just be that simple.
Yep.
Take the intimidation off the table. If there and this is just a thought. But if intimidation is on the table, to me, either there's an insecurity issue within you, or there's still something that you need to make right with someone or someone's. And once you do that, because I feel like intimidation is attached to fear.
Yes. It is.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
Nope.
What you think?
You got it, girl. I loved it. I love this episode.
This was good.
It was.
This was so good. So I just, gosh, I'm excited about next year. Just to wrap up with, you know, the whole thing with when you're splitting from people, splitting entities and businesses and, you know, and how about that? Me and my business partner, no, we're not on an LLC together and all of that. But I actually made a post on Facebook where I introduced my business, right? I'm rebranding myself. And at the end of that introduction, I still support this person at 100%. They have my support. And I am still on their team. When they need me, I will be there. I have an event coming up in 3 weeks. Guess what? This entire time that I've been planning, I have already let her know what her role is. Last year, a year ago, when my heart was trembling, because I'm like, oh, I need to make a decision. Am I going to split? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? What am I going to do? You know, we're the same, but we're different. What am I going to do? I had an event and I paid her to do it. I planned it because that's what I do. I plan, but I'm not a decorator. So a person that I'm connected to closely, I'm not going to slap them in the face and insult them by going around them and hiring someone else to do the very thing that I know that they do well. Just because we're not seeing eye to eye. I dare not.
Yeah.
I dare not. That's maturity.
Exactly.
And we had a ball. We had so much fun. I paid her. I paid her staff. I paid for additional services. And I didn't have any grants at the time. Didn't know anything about grant sponsorship, none of that. I paid for everything out of pocket. Everything. And that's an intimidating thing in itself. That's what splits people as well. They'll say, oh, well, your services is not going to work for me, or you cost too much, or I don't like this, or we're not really getting along right now. So I'm going to go around you. I'm going to go find this other person, because that's actually happened to me before. And when I tell you I wanted to burn the place down, because it's insulting.
Yep.
You're insulting me as an entrepreneur. You're insulting my craft.
Yep.
You are insulting me. Because us as entrepreneurs, when you have integrity, right, it's not always about the money. Now, we want to make the money, but when it's not always about the money, we say things like, let me work with your budget. Let me bend some numbers. Let me find this. Let me work this out for you. But when you say those kind of things and a person still goes around you, it's insulting. And the church would call it offense. So at the time, to be honest with you, I wasn't even offended. I was just irritated.
Yeah.
The reason why I was irritated, it wasn't even that you didn't go with my business. It was that you went with someone that was not as good as me. I didn't even know what the numbers, because, it wasn't my business to know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what they actually paid. I don't know what they actually paid that vendor to do, how they did it.
Yeah.
But when I walked in the room and I'm like, that wasn't on the vision board. That wasn't on the vision board. That wasn't on the vision board. That was, okay, so you got one thing right out of 20. And the color. You got 2 colors right. When I tell you, as an entrepreneur in my field, it burns me up. Burns my cheeks. Honey, and I got a lot of cheeks. Burns me up, honey, when I see that an entrepreneur has come in as an event planner and you did not fulfill your contract. You did not do what you were asked to do, whether it be from me, from the event planner, you didn't do what I asked you to do, or you did not do what your client has asked for you to do.
Yeah.
I don't care how big your name is. We have entrepreneurs here in the Lexington area, and they have served some great big names, hosted great parties. That means nothing to me. That means nothing to me if you can't keep your word. That means nothing to me if you can't follow the small print.
Yes.
That means nothing to me if you have no integrity.
Yes.
If you can't follow instructions.
It's true.
If you have to go above and beyond to fix a mistake, you in the wrong field. You need to take a break. You need a sabbatical. You should go above and beyond to begin with, which is the name of my business and my nonprofit organization, Above and Beyond. Please look me up on social media. My business page is up on Facebook. My nonprofit is not up yet, but please look forward to more events. It's going to be a great year of movement for us next year. Just wanted to put that out there. But you should go above and beyond from the beginning, from the get-go, right out the gate.
I say always.
Always. Not when you're fixing a problem or when there's a crisis or when you're like, oh, I messed up. No, you messed up. Take the hit. keep it going.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So, all the other stuff doesn't matter. But when I actually see a client, corporation, a church, a company, whoever, I've worked with you, I've labored with you, I've talked with you, you've gotten consultations from me, you haven't paid me for my time, for my ideas, you have not paid me, because my brain is genius. It may not be genius for everything, but when it comes to my field, I'm genius. I'm good at what I do. I know I am. God gave me what I do, and it's legacy. It's in my blood.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not being overly deep, but but on the inside, I'm like, maybe I'm from Mars. Like maybe something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. It's just the way my brain moves. So literally now I understand that as an entrepreneur, which I think now you understand why that book is so full. A person who takes 4 hours.
She doesn't know anything about no book.
A person who can think the way you think and write and be just so ahead of time. It's like Holy Spirit driven. Holy Spirit driven, Holy Spirit driven, Holy Spirit driven. And that's it comes from a pure place. And so I do want to encourage you that going into this last, I think we have 2-3 weeks left in the month.
Yeah.
I really encourage you to spend some diligent, intentional time in prayer. To not just build what you're building, but also to build what you need to build spiritually, to tap into that, right?
Yes.
Because that's such a pure place in you, and it needs to be nurtured, and it also needs to be protected. And it can't grow unless a seed is planted and then it's watered.
Yep.
And then the harvest comes.
Yep.
Okay? And so I need you to take that to heart and really, really consider what that means for you. Truly, truly consider what that means for you, because what that's going to look like for you in a year's time, what's in the book is contingent on that.
You know this.
Make sense?
Oh, yes.
And so making sure that you take care of that, and that's cultivated, and that is nurtured, and that you're intentional about it, is what's going to draw everything else that you need. And then the rest of those prayers will be answered in 1 year's time.
You feel those goosebumps?
Listen, I told you earlier, Holy Spirit driven. If you...
They're sitting here like, why is Valerie just being quiet?
Because listen, we have our little tissues on the side for a reason, because we knew before we even started, we were like, one of us, if not both of us, is going to cry tonight. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But this is what happens, guys, when you are transparent, when you're real. You get past the intimidation and you step into the intimacy. That's real. Who cares about the other stuff? Right? This is not a moment of trying to be politically correct or trying to quote every scripture we can think of. This is just an open conversation to be real, to talk about our experiences, to connect the dots, to make things make sense, and to see where we're going, to build, because that bridge, it matters.
Yep.
And to be able to enter and exit.
Yep.
And to be able to build multiple bridges. This is what I so love, Valerie, about. So I'm from Cincinnati originally, right? Of course, like we said earlier, not born and raised. But I was raised in Cincinnati. And Cincinnati has a plethora of bridges. A lot of people only know about 1 or 2 of those bridges. But if you're from Cincinnati, you know that we have multiple bridges that go across the Ohio River.
Yeah.
So when the rest of y'all are stuck in traffic, us Ohioans, we know the little
Bridges.
streets to take to get on the other bridges to be able to go in and out of the city. And we need to be able to build those multiple bridges.
Yes.
So we can go and do what we need to do. And so that we can help the people around us to do what they need to be able to do in an honest and open way, in an ethical way, with character, good character, and with foundation, true foundation that cannot be shaken, that cannot be cracked. If you notice, some people, a flood will come, that house is not moving. That's what I love. The scripture talks about your house being built on the right foundation, being built on a rock. Mm-hmm. And in life, we have to put that across the board. Everything has to be built on a solid foundation, the right foundation. And here's the thing. People love to quote and say, they love to quote and say things don't end wrong, they start wrong. And I do believe that. But I also believe in the grace of God. And I believe in the mercy of God. Mm-hmm. And I believe that when you're in a space where God is giving you grace and where he's giving you mercy, if that foundation is not built the way it needs to be built, you can go back to the construction site and you can say, okay, well, what do we need? How do we fix this? And how about this? When we do that, we just go to people who are specialists in those areas. And this goes back to when I said with pastoral care, because, Christians, we just think our pastors can fix everything. They cannot.
Yeah.
Half of them are broken. And if they're not broken, they have their own problems at home.
Yeah.
They got their own kids. They got their own wife, their own husband, their own mama and daddy, their own bills, their own crisis, that they're either dealing with in a diligent way or that they are trying their best to figure out the best that they can, right? Go to a specialist that can help you deal what you need to deal with. You have to go to the right person to help you to fix that foundation because it's fixable. And if it's not fixable, start over.
That's right.
And that was one of the first conversations me and you had last week was, don't be afraid to start over.
That's right.
It's okay. Don't be intimidated. Don't be fearful. Don't be prideful. If you got to start over, start over. And if you got to start over, you don't have to explain to anybody why you got to start over.
That's right.
Just do it and be amazing at it when you do it.
That's right.
And what I love about Valerie is when she does everything, she does it with red lipstick. Honey, red lipstick. I don't think I've ever seen you, not even in a picture, without red lipstick.
It's hard telling.
Baby.
I mean, it's almost midnight and it's still on.
Listen, tonight I was like, oh, I want to wear red lipstick because she's going to wear it. But I was like, it's not going to go well with my other color schemes. I had wear glasses and everything.
Why did you not wear this?
Because I was like, it's just...
It doesn't matter.
My periwinkle. I didn't think it would go well with my periwinkle.
I say it doesn't matter. Because I tell you, what was it? A week and a half ago, I put on like that fall green color. I don't know what it was. I already had my lipstick on. I had no idea what I was going to wear. And I walked in there, looked in the closet, and I was like, what am I going to wear? What am I going to wear? Oh, that green with that black cardigan, that's fine. And out the door I went, and I was like, this red lipstick does not go with this. But you know what? It's going to stand out. It's going to stand out.
You're right about that.
It is going to stand out.
You are right about...
Let's
you
go.
know what? For Christmas,
Let's go.
I'm going to get you some red statement pieces.
I love it.
That's going to be my Christmas gift to you. I'm going to get you some red fashion statement pieces.
So excited.
I'm excited. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
letting me be on this episode. I hope that it was great tonight.
It was.
I'm so excited about next year.
Me too.
It's the year of movement for us. I'm excited. And I hope you guys are excited too. I hope that you guys join us because we're on the move.
They have no idea what's in store.
They don't. But get ready.
But they'll know in a few weeks. Few weeks. Just be on the edge of your chair, just waiting. Just get ready because it's coming. It's coming and it's coming fast. But it's going to be good. That's the crazy part.
It's going to be good.
It's like, oh my gosh, it's almost here. And then it's like, it's going to go so fast you won't even know.
I'm excited.
Give me a hug.
Thank you.
I love you, girl.
I love you too.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
You guys, I will see you soon. Stay tuned for the last episode. We're wrapping this season up. Bye, guys.
Bye.